Well, boys and girls, welcome back. This is week 12 of distance learning. 12! Congratulations. It's been huge and you've done a really great job. So, one of the first stories I read to you, although not the very first, do you remember when I read the balloon tree to you? And in the balloon tree, there was artwork that I said it was the first of Phoebe Gilman's stories, and that her artwork appears somewhere in all of her other stories. So today I thought for this, our final story time before summer break, I would read Phoebe Gilman's Something from Nothing. I've picked this one for that reason, because I wanted to show you the artwork connection and how subtle it can be, how hard to find it is. It's like a I Spy that you're watching for this piece of artwork, but also with a little bit of humor, because I feel like this is what we've done since March break, when we had nothing home with us to be able to do schoolwork with, including me, and we've created something out of it. Not the perfect classroom, but something. And there are many blessings tied in with that. Unexpected things like being able to see baby deer in my own backyard, being able to take the time to talk to you and film things, because talking to you is what I love the most about teaching. So, with no further ado, Something from Nothing by Phoebe Gilman. This part of the story, I think you will need to see in person, or you will need to look it up on the internet to look at the pictures more closely. All of these pages have two entire sets of pictures going on, and the picture above is this little boy and his grandpa and the story, and the picture below is what's happening at the same time underneath the floorboards where the mice live, and the mice have their own story happening in the mouse story picture. So I will pause and point that out to you once in a while, but mostly today, because of the limitations of not being able to let you look at the book yourself up close, I will read the main part of the story to you and just point out the mouse story. It's a beautiful story, if you can have a chance to explore this book in person. When Joseph was a baby, his grandfather made him a wonderful blanket to keep him warm and cozy and to chase away bad dreams. But as Joseph grew older, the wonderful blanket grew older too. One day his mother said to him, "Joseph, look at your blanket. It's frazzled, it's worn, it's unsightly, it's torn. It's time to throw it out." "Grandpa can fix it," Joseph said. Joseph's grandfather took the blanket and turned it round and round. He said, as his scissors went snip, 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 and his needle flew in and out and in and out. "There's just enough material here to make a wonderful jacket." Joseph put on the wonderful jacket and went outside to play. But as Joseph grew older, the wonderful jacket grew older too. One day his mother said to him, "Joseph, look at your jacket. It's shrunken and small, doesn't fit you at all. It's time to throw it out." "Grandpa can fix it," Joseph said. Joseph's grandfather took the jacket and turned it round and round. He said, as his scissors went snip, 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 and his needle flew in and out and out and in and out. There's just enough material here to make a wonderful vest. Joseph wore the wonderful vest to school the very next day. But as Joseph grew older, their wonderful vest grew older too. One day his mother said to him, "Joseph, look at your vest. It's spotted with glue, and there's paint on it too. It's time to throw it out." "Grandpa can fix it," Joseph said. Joseph's grandfather took the vest and turned it round and round and round. I'm going to pause here for a moment to point out to you the mouse story. I'm sure you've noticed the pattern where the story has a time where the blanket was being made and then time passed, and then the jacket was made and time passed, and the vest has been made and time passed. And every time something is made, Joseph's grandpa is snip, snip, snipping, and all the little bits of fabric are falling between the floorboards to the mouse family underneath. And in this picture, you can see very clearly that the mouse family now has nice matching curtains and bedding, and all the times that Joseph's grandpa have been snip, snip, snipping, those mice have been collecting all of those bits, making them into something. He turned it round and round. He said, as his scissors went snip, 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 and his needle flew in and out and in and out. There's just enough material here to make a wonderful tie. Joseph wore the wonderful tie to his grandparents' house every Friday. But as Joseph grew older, his wonderful tie grew older too. One day his mother said to him, "Joseph, look at your tie. This big stain of soup makes the end of it droop. It's time to throw it out." "Grandpa can fix it," Joseph said. Joseph's grandfather took the tie and turned it round and round. He said, as his scissors went snip, 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 and his needle flew in and out and in and out. There's just enough material here to make a wonderful handkerchief. Joseph used the wonderful handkerchief to keep his pebble collection safe. But as Joseph grew older, his wonderful handkerchief grew older too. One day his mother said to him, "Joseph, look at your handkerchief. It's been used till it's tattered, it's splotched, and it's splattered. It's time to throw it out." All capital letters, we know she's shouting. "Grandpa can fix it," Joseph said. Joseph's grandfather took the handkerchief and turned it round and round. He said, as his scissors went snip, 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 and his needle flew in and out and in and out. There's just enough material here to make a wonderful button. Joseph wore the wonderful button on his suspenders to hold his pants up. One day, his mother said to him, "Joseph, where is your button?" Joseph looked. It was gone. He searched everywhere, but he could not find it. Joseph ran down to his grandfather's house. "My button, my wonderful button is lost." And his mother ran after him and said, "Joseph, listen to me. The button is gone, finished, kaput. Even your grandfather can't make something from nothing. Joseph's grandfather shook his head sadly. I'm afraid that your mother is right, he said. The next day, Joseph went to school. He said, as his pen went scritch, 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 scratch over the paper. There's just enough material here to make a wonderful story. The end. Something from nothing. Now, the mouse family. I promised I would stop and tell you about it when it was important to do so. Did anyone see the picture from the balloon tree? Remember all the balloons with the balloon tree story? I bet you didn't. Because, unless there's another picture in here that I didn't notice, the picture from the balloon tree is actually in the mouse apartment. So it's in the tiny, tiny picture zone at the bottom where the mice are constructing all of these beautiful things from this wonderful fabric that the story is based on. So when you get a chance to look closely, it's in the mouse world, this picture, and it's a long rectangular picture on the wall, just that big, and it's the picture of the balloon tree. So Phoebe Gilman has included a picture from that balloon tree story somewhere in every other story that she has written and illustrated. Wonderful, talented woman. And so I would encourage you to read Phoebe Gilman stories. Many of them are written in rhyming verse. This one had a little bit of rhyming in it, but all of them have a little bit of that balloon tree story in it. And I think that's just a marvelous idea that she did that. And I hope that you will enjoy. The Phoebe Gilman stories include all of the Gillian Jiggs stories. Those are also Phoebe Gilman, and they also have in them somewhere a picture of that balloon tree. So boys and girls, have a wonderful summer. Please come and see me in September if school is open. Tell me how you are. Tell me your stories. I've loved reading about your stories and listening to them. And I hope you enjoyed our book sale today, our show and tell book sale, and our show and tell from last day, of course. This has just been quite an amazing experience for me. And I really do think that we built something out of nothing. Our classroom was not there for us, but all the love in our hearts was there, and that gave us an opportunity to build relationship together right across the screen, right from my heart into yours, and yours back into mine. Be well, be healthy, do kind deeds every day in this summer. Pray, help, show kindness, and have hope. The next school year will be starting. It might be quite different from the last school year, but I hope that it will have more in-person time than this phase of our learning. I think it will. So let's be hopeful and let's aim for that. Have a wonderful summer, my angels. Thanks so much for tuning in.